What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be riding not my RSV4 but this Panigale V4. So instead of me going and doing a comparison, spec comparison from one bike to another, I mean you can Google that on online. You know, I'm not going to go over how many horsepower that is, What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a real life review. Basically I'm going to jump on that bike. This is the first time I'm going on that bike. I've never been on this bike, so I'm going to do a live review how everything feels as I'm on it. Oh yeah, this bike is taller for sure. Okay, so I'm in race A mode because I wanted to give all the power to this bike compared to mine, because technically mine is with Gabriel's M torque, no torque limitations, so I wanted no torque limitations for this too, and race A will give you 0 torque limitations, so that's what we're going to start with. Yeah, that's GP22, man. Oh, this is nice too. All right. Yeah, so the clutch distance is much further away from mine. Mine engages immediately, whereas this, like, you're up to here and you still have no clutch. Yep. The minute you let go of my clutch, it just goes. Okay, so my first reaction is immediately it has more engine vibration. That's the first thing I noticed. More engine vibration and more heat. Now, the tank, for some reason, feels wider on my thighs, but it feels narrower on the top. So we'll see how that goes on the corners. Agility on low speeds, it feels the same, to be honest. And this does not have forged wheels. It has cast wheels. Mine does. I don't know what the gearing is on this one. I'm assuming it's stop gearing, whatever that number is. Also, the exhaust note, I hear more bass. A lot more bass compared to mine, where it's more raspy with the GP22. Okay, one thing though, and I want to test it at higher speeds, but the quick shifter seems smooth as butter compared to mine. How does yours feel so far? So you feel that my bike turns easier than yours? Okay, so basically Somer said that my bike feels more agile, lighter, and I don't think it's because of the forged wheels only. I think in general the RSV4 is more agile, because I recently switched to forged wheels, so I remember what my bike felt like before the forged wheels. And yeah, you could say my bike is a little more agile, but I think it could also be a placebo effect, because for some reason this feels more massive here on the tank compared to mine, whereas mine feels longer. Like I'm too involved here. I'm too like more forward leaning down compared to mine. Mine I'm like right here. With this I'm right here. So this has a more track oriented position compared to my RSV4. Yeah, the heat is hitting me, man. This thing is hot. This thing is hot. Yeah, let me see how the brake goes. Oh, nice responsive brake. Okay, yeah, so the quick shifter, smooth as butter. The smoothest quick shifter I've ever ridden ever. Way more smooth than mine. And also, this is GP Shift and also has aftermarket rear sets, just like mine. So it's basically apples to apples. It's not that my quick shifter is not as smooth because I changed rear sets. This quick shifter feels higher quality at the shifts. Downshift, first gear, I didn't feel no engine brake like I felt on mine. Oh, it's like buttery smooth. You feel no like immediate engine brake with downshifting. With mine, third, second, if I go to first, it kind of like brakes too hard. This is so smooth. What do you think about the quick shifter, Somer? So you don't feel much of a difference in the quick shifter. You feel it's basically similar. And what about the tank? Okay, so you feel better grip with my tank and the RSV4, and you feel that you would be able to turn easier because you would have better grip on the thighs. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I wish I was recording also Somer so you could hear his feedback from my bike. So basically I'm gonna be transferring his feedback directly here as I did right now. Okay, also the bike feels that it is taller. I feel that I'm higher off the ground, not just by the seat, by everything. I feel that I'm higher. Overall, my bike feels lower on the ground. Okay, so first reaction, the bike is taller, that's for sure. The seat height feels taller. I don't know what the measurements are on the specs, but I'm going based on what I feel, and it does feel taller. So it feels taller, it's equally comfortable, but it is hotter. Quick shifter, butter smooth. So far, first reaction gets a thumbs up. Question is, how will it do other turns? Will it feel as agile as my RSV4 or not? Or is it as powerful? Will it feel as powerful? Let's find out. So yeah, and so we basically might not have similar settings for engine braking. We could match that in the settings. Is it because the RSV4 Aprilia has like 1, 2, 3 levels? Everything is 1, 2, 3 except traction control. With Ducati, you get like up to 8. Like you'll see wheelie control like 6 levels, 8 levels, and whereas Aprilia has 1, 2, 3 wheelie control. Now for ABS, same thing. ABS has 1, 2, 3 for RSV4. When RSV4 ABS 1, you only get ABS in the front with no cornering ABS and no ABS on the rear. Whereas ABS 1 and the Ducati still gives you cornering ABS and no ABS on the rear. So you get that extra cornering ABS on ABS 1. So there has more levels, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels of ABS. This is 1, 2, 3. So you can't really match everything with each other, so we match as close as possible. Also guys, this bike is fully tuned, exhaust, map, everything, so it's equal upgrades to what I've done to my RSV4. So you can say that it is an equal comparison to power. I'm also going to link on the description Somer's bike. I'm going to link his YouTube channel and Instagram channel if you want to check out his bike. So for some low speed comparisons going behind this traffic, I'm noticing that the seat is becoming hotter and hotter and hotter, which means after a while this is unbearable if you're going slow like this. On this bike you have to keep going, man. You have to go fast to bring that air to cool you, because if I would continue on this pace, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a long ride, especially under hot weather. Now if it's a cold weather, it might be beneficial because you want the heat, but yeah, this is hitting me, especially on my left thigh. It's killing me, man. The heat is too much. I'm sweating here. Do you feel heat difference somewhere on your bike? Yeah, there you go, man. Yeah, the RSV4, there's no heat, especially compared to the Panigale. There is no heat on the RSV4. Assuming you're wearing gear too, of course. Now if you're in shorts, you're gonna feel the heat anyway, but assuming you're riding in shorts in the first place. Okay, commuting speeds were cool. Let's see how this will perform on turns. Of course, I'm gonna go easy on turns. This is not my bike, so I don't know the bike. I have to learn it, so I'm gonna go easy on the turns. Oh, the tank feels much larger on my arm. Yeah, power acceleration feels the same so far. It actually feels like, you know, the sound reminds me of an RS660 with power. I just felt like I was riding my RS660 right now. Yeah, so far, yeah, I need to learn this bike a little more, but the tank, I prefer the RSV4 tank. Yeah, man, no comparison. This feels fat. The tank compared to mine feels fat, but it is planted, man. This bike is planted. And I feel that it's a little more tiring, I feel. I need to get out to faster turns and see how it feels. This is too much traffic today. Ride 4 GT. Yeah, it's very planted. 100%. Can't go wrong with Panigale V4, man. Let's see what I can do with a little more straight. Oh, yes. I need to get this at higher RPM. I feel this is gonna rip on higher RPM, because this goes higher than my RSV4, and that's something I don't like on my RSV4. It's like it cuts off too quick. I want to hit that 16k, man, RPM. Yeah, I'm barely opening the throttle. This thing is powerful, man. It's very linear. The power is very linear. Oh my God. Yes, this bike is, yep. Power is approved. This thing is a rocket, man. It's so linear. The power is like, you open the throttle, yes, it has a lot of power like my RSV4 does, but it feels more refined. It feels more proper for the track. I don't know, there's something about my RSV4 that feels raw. Maybe it's a GP22 because I have a straight pipe and this does not have a straight pipe, so that could play a big role too. And throttle response, but this feels extremely linear. Now with this small opening the throttle, oh man, I'm burning up. It's crazy. Let's see the acceleration. Yeah, very linear. Okay, equal power. So far I feel equal power. I mean, these bikes are equally powerful, man. The only way you can tell which one would win, can't really do that. Even if you drag race them, it depends on how heavy one rider is compared to the other. So many factors there, but we can call these bikes equally powerful. It just feels more refined, the power. Maybe if on my RSV4, maybe I switch to a Connex or a SE1R from SE Project, full exhaust, I could potentially be getting the same effect. Why I believe this? Because when I went on my RS660 from a CRT to an SE1R, on my same bike, I switched the exhaust on the fly. I felt the bike being different. It was more responsive. So the throttle was more responsive with the R660 with the SE1 now compared to the CRT. So this could be the same case here, where this feels more refined because of the more restrictive exhaust compared to the open pipe that I have, the GP22. So Shamir just told me that the Canyon is basically, with his bike, he's on first and second gear always, whereas with mine, he was on second and third, which is true. I'm on second and third all the time on my RSV4. And with this, I could see the first and second, 100%. Yeah, it feels very, very linear. This bike, you point, you go. Yes. The only thing I don't like is the tank. I'm used to my RSV4, so it's a little flatter tank, more like a MotoGP tank. Whereas this reminds me a little bit of an S1K tank, which is a little bulkier. So if they could flatten down this, just make it more flat, I would prefer this. Oh, I hear that GP22 passing me, man. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Yeah, the power is there, man. There's no question about that. I can't tell if this is more powerful than RSV4 or not. It doesn't matter, man. Both are leader bikes. Both are amazing. Both are powerful. Okay, there's one thing I like more on this bike than my RSV4. When you rev high, it sounds like a MotoGP bike. Now I know you're gonna say, what are you talking about? GP22 doesn't sound like a MotoGP bike. It does, man. But there's something about this sound that sounds even more like a MotoGP bike. Gotta be careful of the bicycles. It sounds like a MotoGP bike. This is insane. But even though I like the sound more on high revs on this bike, I didn't feel as planted on those bumpy roads on faster speeds compared to my RSV4. The RSV4 felt more planted on higher speeds. I felt more comfortable on my RSV4 than I feel on this one. on high revs, but almost as if this is a lighter bike. I felt like I was riding an R6 on the turns with power. That's how this bike felt, which could be proof that could be a better track bike, maybe. And the other thing too that I noticed is that now that I was waiting there, this bike was on fire. I had to go. You can't stop with this bike. And now I understand why they have the cylinder deactivation, which I'm not a fan of. I hate that when you're neutral, this bike deactivates, I believe, the 2 rear cylinders, and the sound changes. So whenever you want to do a sound comparison with this bike, you actually have to put it in the first gear, hold the clutch, and do the revs to do that sound comparison. I'm not a fan of that, but I see why Ducati did it. Even with the cylinder deactivation, this bike is burning. It's too much, man. My RSV4, you feel nothing. Like, it doesn't matter. You can rev that thing all day long. It stays cool. So definitely prefer my RSV4 in that aspect. Also, I haven't felt a difference on low RPM acceleration or torque. I've been told that, you know, the Panigales lack a little bit of torque on the low end. I am not noticing that. Yes, I feel my RSV4 is a little more torquey on low end RPM. Yes, that is true. But you can't really title this bike low on torque. Absolutely not. If you've ridden an S1K, you know this bike is not low on torque. Because that S1K is low on torque, man. Maybe I'll do a ride review with an S1K too, but I've ridden the S1K for like 5 minutes. I did a few pulls, and gotta say, wasn't a fan, but we'll get to that at all the time. Now there's one more bike that I want to ride, which used to be kind of like my dream bike at some point in time, and that is the R1. Why did I not choose the R1? Well, because, do you have to ask why I didn't choose the R1? I have an RSV4. I mean, come on. The sound is amazing. It's a beautiful bike, which I think the R1 is lacking a little bit on certain things, but I definitely want to ride the R1 and see how an inline 4 would feel, a crossplane. Maybe the next review could be the R1. We'll see. But for now, let's stick to these two. Okay, so recap. What does it feel like riding the Panigale V4 compared to the RSV4? Well, I can tell you this. So far, unfortunately, I have to say this, my back is a little more sore than it is with my RSV4. I feel sore in my back, which tells you that this bike is a little more leaning forward. It's a little more track oriented. Not saying that it would perform better on the track. I'm saying it's more track oriented compared to the RSV4. Or let's just say the RSV4 is also more street oriented compared to the Panigale V4. So for that reason alone, knowing that I would be feeling how I feel right now, sore, I would be choosing the RSV4. Now, what do I like better on this? It's the quick shifter. Quick shifter is smoother. I love the quick shifter. What do I like better on this? It revs past 14,000 RPM. I miss that. I hate the fact that my RSV4 stops at like 13,500 or so, or something like that. This goes maybe 16K, I think, and it feels amazing. I like more that it sounds like a MotoGP bike on top end. I hate from this that it's hot, it's burning. I can't do that, man. Riding every day, I can't do that. Not even riding once a week. So power, they feel the same, man. Equal power, planted. I feel my RSV4 that's a little more planted compared to this. This is a little more lean in the throttle response, but it could be because of the exhaust, which I'm almost positive it is because of the exhaust. So also this bike is taller. The tank is a little thicker. I don't like how it feels on your forearms when you take turns. my tank on RSV4 has more grip than this. Well, I don't want to talk about beauty because everyone has their own opinion. I kind of feel that the Panigale V4 is technically a more beautiful bike compared to the RSV4, but then again, it depends how you see it. Watching my RSV4 on the street, I also noticed that it looks more mean compared to a Ducati Panigale. You know, the Panigale feels more like luxury. You see a Panigale in the street and you say, wow, look at that beautiful bike, man. But when I see the RSV4, I'm like, okay, that's mean, man. You know, that's, I don't know, it just feels mean. So what would I choose overall? I can tell you this, I'm happy today. Why am I happy? Because I had a fear that today I would be wanting to buy a Panigale V4, and I'm so glad I don't. Not because I don't like the bike is amazing, okay? I love this bike. Panigale V4 is just a beautiful, amazing bike. But would I ever give my RSV4 for the Panigale V4? Absolutely not. To the Panigale V4 owners, I don't mean to offend anyone. This is just my personal opinion. This is how I feel. That's why there's so many bikes for us to choose. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this ride review. I hope this gave you some tips on what bike would suit you best. Would it be the Panigale V4 or the RSV4? Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.